So to solve equations, you must remember to always do the opposite. So add and subtract are opposites of each other, and times and divide are opposites of each other. So we're starting with the easiest type, which means one step, and we're going to gradually add more and more steps through to the more complicated types of equations. So the first one I've highlighted, we have a plus 4 equals 6. So the plus 4 is with the a. To get the a by itself, the opposite of plus 4 is to minus 4. And we have to keep the equation balanced, so we have to do it to both sides of the equal sign. That will get rid of the 4, which is on the same side as the a. A will then be equal to, and I do this little calculation, 6 take away 4, which is 2. All right, that's the easiest one. Let's do another one down here. This just has bigger numbers, but it's still the same type of thing. J minus 125. The opposite of minus 125 is plus 125. Do it on both sides. So cross it off where you have the minus 125 plus 125. They cancel out. J is by itself. 25 plus 375 is 500. Plussing, yes. Okay, on to two-step equations. 2a plus 1 equals 3. So the two steps are the 2 and the 1. Once you get more than one step, the question you've got to ask yourself is, which number do you do first? Which number should I do first? The 1. You always are starting further away from the a and you're working your way towards it. So the opposite of a plus 1 is to minus 1. That will leave 2a equals 3 minus 1 is 2. Second step is to get rid of the 2. Because it's next to the a, it means that they are multiplied, and the opposite is going to be to divide by 2. Now, I don't write divide signs, I do fraction lines. They mean divide. The 2's will cancel off on the left side. A equals 2 divided by 2 is 1. Let's do another one. 4y minus 5. The 4 and the minus 5 are the two numbers. What is my first step? Plus the 5. Good. So go plus 5 plus 5. Get rid of that. That will leave 4y equals 15 plus 5 is 20. Next step is divide by 4. Divide by 4. Cancel it off. Good. Y equals 5. Remember, it is really important that you show the steps, you show you're working out, because you get marks for all that. Okay, on to the 3 steps. So 3 steps, let's count the numbers we need to do. The 2, the 3, and the 1. There's the 1, 2, 3 things that I have to do. Which one first? The 1. Good, very good. So let's minus 1. That will leave the 2a over 3 is still there. And 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. Which thing is second? Yeah, what's the opposite? Times by 3. So it will be 2a equals 2 times 3 is 6. Last step is get rid of the 2 by divide by 2. Get rid of the 2 and a equals 3. Well done. Okay, let's do one with brackets. There's actually 2 ways you can do them with brackets. But I'm going to do the expanding it out because it will help you with the harder one that's coming down there that's next. Okay, so expanding brackets, you multiply the 3 with each thing inside the bracket. We did this in algebra last lesson. So 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times 5 is 15 equals 9. All right, now we do our opposites, which will be for the 3 and the 15 here. They're the two numbers that I have to get rid of. to solve the equation. What is my first opposite? Yeah, what did I do with the 15? Plus it. Good. So let's go plus 15, plus 15. Get rid of it. 3x equals 9 plus 15 is 24. Good. Second step, divide 3. Well done. X equals 8. Very nice. Okay, so that probably covers a good chunk of our equations topic, just the 1, 2 and 3 step equations. But there is a couple of extra bits down here. This next one that I've highlighted is quite a complicated one because you have brackets on both sides. But if you stick to the process of expanding, that will help you out. So let's times it out. 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times 5 is 15. Then the equal sign, and now times the 2 into the next bracket. 2 times 2x is 4x minus 2 times 11 is 22. Okay, now we haven't done this type yet where we have x's on both sides. Does anyone remember what we do when we have x's on both sides? Yes. We kinda, not always plus. Yeah, we want to get them together so that there is only one. We want to collect them up so there is only one of them. And usually, just to keep, you don't have to do it this way, but our tip was we want to move them over to the left because we like to have our letters on the left-hand side of the equation, not the right-hand side. Okay, so that means that I really don't want that 4x because it's on the wrong side of my equation and I want to get it away from there. So it's a positive 4x. I'm going to move the whole term by subtracting the 4x. Now I have to do it on both sides, so I put it underneath both of the x terms because they're going to collect up. The 4x's are going to cancel out. On the left side, I do 3x take away 4x, which is negative 1x. I'll write the 1 there because we're going to need that in a minute. We still have the minus 15. And then that is equal to negative 22. Okay, so this is progress because we have 1x now. That's good. Now I want to move the numbers away from that x. What should I do first? Plus 15. So let's go plus 15, plus 15. Get rid of that. So we have minus 1x equals negative 7 because minus 22 plus 15 is negative 7. All right, now the reason I left that minus 1 there, how do I get rid of that? Divide by a negative 1. Okay, you can divide by negative numbers. So divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. X is finally on its own, and minus 7 divided by minus 1 is a positive 7. There are other ways that you could have done that. You don't necessarily have to always do things in the same order. And some people might have moved the 3x across to the right. That would also work. Okay? As long as you are doing steps that are logical, you should end up at the same point. Okay, next bit, we are in substitution. This is where we are given some values for the letters that are in our problem, and we want to sub them in and solve to find one of them. So I'm going to do question 2, and I have a formula, which is a equals half bracket x plus y, just wherever that came from, they gave that to me. I want to find a if the x is equal to 5 and the y is equal to 7. So those numbers are going to replace the letters in the formula. So the first thing you should do is rewrite it. A equals half bracket. And now the x and the y I'm going to replace with the numbers. So x was 5 plus y was 7, close bracket. And then I don't need to do order operations. You can just type that into your calculator. Do I have a calculator? Yes, there it is. All right. So we have half, or you might be able to do it in your head. That's good too. Bracket 5 plus 7 is equal to 6. If I did it without it, will it still work? It might. Anytime that a number is next to something, it means that it's times, but it still works without it. Yeah. Okay, next. Inequations. Inequations are the ones that have the less thans and greater thans and less thans are equal to, greater than or equal to symbols in them. I've highlighted them all there in green. Now to solve these, they are pretty much exactly the same as a normal equation. You'll still do opposites and all that stuff and try to get the letter by itself. And the symbol, the greater than sign for A here, for example, most of the time it just stays the same thing the whole way through. The thing that you have to be careful of, the times when it will change, will be if you divide or multiply by a negative number. If you do that, you have to turn the sign the other direction. The other time that that would happen would be if your letter was on the right-hand side and you needed to move it over to the left-hand side to make it how we would normally write our solution. So if you're switching sides, that means you need to also switch the sign around. So they're the things to look out for. But these ones are actually very nice ones. So question A, to get x by itself, all I need to do is minus that 1. Now, subtracting normally is fine. It's only multiplying or dividing by a negative, okay? So the 1 will disappear. X is by itself. Keep the greater than sign. Don't turn it into an equal sign. Sometimes on tests, people just go, oh, I'm just going to put an equal sign in there. You still have to keep the symbol there, a greater than. And 5 minus 1 is 4. That's it. Done. That was a one-step inequation. I think there's some more of those in a bit. Some harder ones, but there's some word problems in between. Sorry? I think we'll do one of those in a minute. Okay? All right, so let's do a word question. And I've chosen this one. It's a very nice question because I need you to know what the word consecutive means. What does consecutive mean? Yeah. So could you give me 3, just not that question, what would be 3 consecutive numbers? Yeah, 3 numbers in a row, or 6, 7, 8, or 55, 56, 57. It means 3 numbers in a row, right after each other. Oh, wait, thank you. Okay, so we don't know what the first number even is to find out what all 3 of those consecutive numbers are. So we have to use our equations, our algebra here. I'm going to call my first number that I'm looking for x. The next number along would have to be 1 bigger than that. So it would be x plus 1. And then the next number again would have to be x plus 2. They are my 3 numbers. The first number is x, next one is x plus 1, and the next one is x plus 2. 3 numbers that are just getting 1 bigger each time. Now the question says that I want to sum those 3 numbers. So I'm just going to put plus signs in here and here to add the 3 things together. Now those 3 numbers are added together to give a result, which means equals to 372. And the question asks me to find the numbers. All right, algebra time. If we have got 3 x's there, but they're all on the same side, we just have to collect the like terms. X plus x is 3 x's, so 3x. 3x. Then the 1 and the 2, they are also like terms. What is 1 plus 2? 3. So all that stuff on the left-hand side just simplifies to become 3x plus 3. That is equal to the 372. So that made a much nicer equation. Now I can solve it. What's my first step? Minus 3 minus 3. So I have 3x equals 369. Then I have to, second step, divide by 3, divide by 3. And I think that makes 123. Thank you. All right, I have not finished. Oh, dear, look at that. That is not completely the answer, because back here at the start it says find the numbers. not just the starting one. I need to find the three numbers that are adding up to 372. So at the end of this, I'm going to go, so the three dots mean therefore the numbers are, now remember X was my first number, so 123 is the first number, 124 would be the next number, and 125 would be the third number. And you could check it. If you add them all up, hopefully you get 372. Okay, that probably is a pretty good question to have in your study sheet, but that's up to you. All right, there's a few more word questions in there. Oh, and then there's some more of these pronumerals on both sides ones. So let's do another one of these. We have 6x plus 5 equals 4x plus 17. The 4x that is over here on the right-hand side, I want to move it away. So I'm going to subtract the 4x. That will leave 6x take away 4x is 2x. I'm collecting those up. Plus 5 equals 17. Now, sometimes the lines they put on these are a bit annoying because they don't always give you enough. So you'll have to do your working out steps pretty small. Next step is to get rid of the 5. So I'm going to put little minus 5 here. 2x equals 17 take away 5 is 12. And then finally, last step is to divide that 2. So x equals 6. Yes? Happy with that one? All right. There's some more there with brackets. Oh, I thought there's a harder one there. I think, is there some more of those down the bottom? Are we coming up to some more of those? I'll go back after. All right, I've got to keep moving. All right, D. I wanted to do this one because it's a bit harder. You got brackets and multiple D's in this question. So first of all, let's expand out. 3 times 2D makes 6D. 3 times minus 9 is negative 27. Then you have the plus 5D. It's not part of the bracket, so don't multiply it. It's just sitting on the end. And then equals 105. So we have 2D terms. We have the 6D and the 5D, but they're on the same side. If they're on the same side, don't do opposites, just collect them up. 6 plus 5 makes 11D minus 27 equals 105. Okay, ready for our opposites now. So the 27, I'm going to have to plus 27 plus 27. Get rid of that. 11D equals 132. Last step, what should I do? Divide the 11, good. Which means that D equals 12, yes. Okay. Yeah, there's quite a lot. Equations was a big topic. Lucky, I'm doing like half of these for you. You're gonna have heaps done already. Consider the rule C equals 6n plus 4. Find C if n is equal to 8. It is telling me the value of n that I want to put into my equation. So I'm going to rewrite it and replace the n with an 8. It will be C equals 6n means 6 times by 8. I put the times sign in because when things are next to each other, it means times. And then I have a plus 4. So that was the 6n plus 4. I just replaced the n with an 8. 6 8 to 48 plus 4 makes 52. You can put that in your calculator to get the answer. C means it looks the same, but I'm actually going to have to solve the equation to do this. Because I know that C is 46, so that's going to be on this side. 46 equals 6n plus 4, and I need to rearrange the equation to find out what n is. Okay, now n's on the right side, which is not usually our comfort zone, but we can do it. I need to move the 6 and the 4. First one to go is the 4. So get rid of that. To make it look nicer, I'm going to move the 6n over to the left. And then do 46 minus 4 is 42. All right, next step, divide the 6, and n is equal to 7. There's this big wordy question here. I wasn't sure if I should do this one because there is only one of them. Should I leave that one for you, do you think? You want me to do it? All right. A plumber charges a $50 call-out fee and $70 per hour. The total cost of a particular visit was $295. Define a variable to stand for the length of the visit in hours. So that's just saying choose a letter that you're going to use. And there's no wrong answer here, really, as long as it's a letter. What do you want to pick? X. Okay, we're going to use X to represent the number of hours. You might have choose N for number or H for hours. I don't care. X is perfectly fine. Write an equation to solve the problem or describe the problem. So the plumber is going to charge, I'm going to use C for charge, or the cost maybe. He's going to charge $50 for a call-out fee plus $70 per hour will mean 70 times by that X. So anytime he wants to work out how much to charge you, he's going to go 50 plus 7 times the hours it takes him to do the job. And that's how much it charges, right? Okay, so it says solve the equation because up here we were told that he gets $295. I probably should sub that in first. So let's put in here. 295 was the cost equals 50 plus 70x. That's what I want to solve. So now let's rearrange that, and I'll do the working out in part C to get the x by itself. So I'm going to minus the 50, sorry, it's got some words in the way there. I'm going to move the 70x over to the left. 295 minus 50 is 245, I believe. Then get rid of the 70 by dividing. So we go 245 divided by 70. You got an answer for me, Austin? Press the SD button to give me a decimal. 3.5 hours. So I've kind of written it there, but in D it says state the length of the plumber's visit. That 3.5 hours, you're interpreting. That 3.5 was hours that he was there. Yes, this was the inequations ones. Okay, I think we're nearly at the end of this section. So this is a harder inequality one because there is 2 steps and there is a negative involved here that might make some things happen. So the 2 steps, the first one is to get rid of the 9, and I need to minus the 9 to move it because the minus that's there belongs with the 4. The 9 itself is actually positive at the moment. So that will leave minus 4b is less than minus 8. Now this is the scenario, one of the scenarios that you have to look out for. My next step is to divide by negative 4. Because I am dividing by a negative number, when I write my answer down, that less than sign has now become a greater than sign. It gets turned around. So minus 8 divided by minus 4 is a positive 2 for the answer. So it should be B is greater than positive 2. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the sign. You might want to make a note of that. Greater than or less than, or with the equal to sign, that doesn't make a difference if it's got the equal to sign on it like C does, that still does the same thing. Down the bottom, there is one that we want to just talk about the graph of what these inequalities look like. So the dot, sometimes you have got coloured in dots and sometimes you've got open dots. The coloured in dots are for when you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to signs. If they have the equal sign on them, it means you colour in the dot. That means that the open circle is for when it's just a less than or a greater than. I like to think of it as we're right up next to it, but we're not right at that dot, so we've got to go slightly around it because it's not equal to that number. Okay? So in question A, I have a closed in dot at the 3, and it's pointing to the numbers that are smaller than that, right? So it's going to be x is less than or equal to, because it was coloured in, 3, because that was the number that it started at. So any number less than or equal to 3 is what that number line is representing. I think that might finally be the end. Yes, yay. All right, let's stop that